We're right on the coast of the North Sea in the Netherlands, and fans all around the world will be looking forward to Formula One's return here later this year. But why wait till then when you've got wheel-to-wheel racing to enjoy right now? Welcome along to the Dutch Grand Prix. It's round 4 in season 16 of the Wheel2Wheel Racing AL2 Championship, and we're at Zandvoort, a venue that's not been used by Formula One since 1985. But it is set to make its return in September of 2021. This track has undergone many changes to get it ready for Formula One, and in its current state, it's a 2.6-mile circuit with 14 corners, 4 to the left and 10 to the right. There's 2 DRS zones, and really only one good overtaking opportunity, and that is down into Turn 1. It's an intense, fast-paced circuit which will test our drivers during 72 laps of racing after qualifying today. And our tires are the hardest in the Pirelli range, a C1, C2, and the C3. Soft C3 tires about half a second quicker than the mediums, and quicker than the hards by just over 1 second per lap. Softs have good life around here, so we'll likely be seeing most of our drivers using them. Right now, as we are underway in qualifying, we look forward to another exciting race here at Wheel2Wheel Racing.
Yeah, we had some really good action on Wednesday. We had a 1 second split 4th to 14th in the qualifying session, and we've already got a little bit of action on track of Blood and Sand, and that is James battling to be the first to set the flying lap by the looks of it, but different tyre strategies going in at the moment, so we'll be interested to see. I'm Bloomstar 1986, we're joined by Matt and All Shot Down. So how are you two?
Very good. Glad to have our 3-man booth for today's race. Should be an exciting one around a great circuit.
Good to be back, and like I say, yeah, it's nice and cozy today with the 3 of us here, so a little bit more company as well. I think it'll be an interesting race as well. Like I said, it's not really a similar race around done yet in real life, but as we saw on Wednesday, it's definitely a fun track to drive, so these guys should have some fun.
So James has already bailed on his lap, but Blood and Sand in the Haas just starting his lap now as he comes round turn 1, very tight on the inside. You have to watch that inside curb. Then we've got a banked turns 2 and 3 here, and big bank here, but you need to watch the traction as you come out of here. And then you've got a long series of corners here, but it's where you can get a big slipstream on your counterparts as you're driving around here. Then we're coming into sector 3, heavy braking here, but it's a good opportunity to stay close to the back of your rivals as we're coming round now to our first DRS detection point, which is here. DRS down into sector 3. Heavy braking into turns 11 and 12. It's difficult to get the track limits right here. You don't want to go too close to the inside curb and lose some traction. But then you want to be flat out of turn 12, coming into turn 13, and Blood and Sand loses it on turn 13, which is a difficult corner as it is, but it's a heavy bank, and he's now going to be trying to get back on track. And he's trying to get out of the way of another car there, Renault, and he's making a right meal of it. So we'll go on board with somebody else as Maxi sets the first lap as a 1:11.9.
So we saw their Blood and Sand just going a little bit wide there at turn 13, and you want to get a great exit out of that penultimate corner because it's flat out through turn 14 all the way down into turn 1, but just a little bit too much power too early. And now we've got Appleplex and a Letdown Estate setting their lap times. Appleplex with a 1:10.2 is on provisional pole.
It looked like a Letdown Estate carried a little bit too much speed as he crossed the line there, going down into turn 1 as he's gone straight off into the run-up area. Luckily not hit anything, but he's a safe entry back into the track as well for the Red Bull driver.
Prev crosses the line on some soft tyres with a 1:11.7. Pole time here last season was a 1:10.1, and that was set by Dastardly, so we'll see how AL2 can fare this time round. Maxi, when again and improved on a medium set, is now back up into third with a 1:11.6, just jumping in front of Prev there.
A really good lap time from Sega Takals on the mediums, a 1:11.1. He's in second at the moment. Be interesting to see if he wants to go for the softs later in the session or stick with that.
Well, like I say, there's not a massive deficit between the mediums and the softs. Here, is it 4/10?
Just over 5/10.
Just over 5/10, yeah.
Which is definitely one of the smaller differences that we see in our tire range.
James coming round the final corner. DRS open. He's ran out of ERS as he's gone round the track, but that puts him up into second place with a 1:10.9 on the soft tyres. Xerxes.
Go on. Good lap from the God King in the Red Bull. A 1:10.3. Showed great pace reserved on Wednesday. Showed really impressive pace in qualifying. And he'll be trying to replicate that here today.
Well, just jumping on board here with Cal, so our championship leader for AL2, who's just starting his first flying lap here on a set of mediums as well, so it'll be interesting to see what times he can pump out, like you say, with only a 6/10 gap or deficit in that sense between the softs. Does he have that much more pace to chuck the car up in the front, even on the solo?
So Woody also putting in a respectable time there, 1:10.3 also on the soft tyres. It's looking to be low 1:10s, which the AL2 guys are looking to put in here, but Old Dads crosses the line on a set of mediums and does a 1:11.3.
Cal has gone purple in the first sector, so I don't know if we should be surprised about that, and then purple in the middle sector as well, as he's just rounding off his lap here, as he's around turn 12. He's got quite a bit of battery still left on himself as well, so I don't know, it looks like he may have done a bit of saving midway round as he attacks the curb on the inside of 13 and then keeping the pedal flat to the ground through 14. DRS is wide open, he's going to bring it down to the line, and where is this going to put him in retrospective? And it puts him P1 with a 1:10.1 on the medium tyres.
Yeah, really showing his strength here in AL2. He's reserved in a couple AL1 races and fared quite well, so for the moment he's looking to be the strongest contender, with having already scored 2 pole positions, 3 race wins and 2 fastest laps. He is on fire. CHM coming round, but it doesn't look like he's setting a lap. Old Dad's again looking like it's an in lap.
We've got the racing point of James Laws coming around the final corner. I think this will be his first timed lap, but no, he is pulled into the pits. So Racing Point still yet to settle at.
Yeah, maybe he was looking
halfway.
Maybe he was thinking about a medium set and wanted to start on the mediums, and thought he just wanted to come in before setting that soft tyre lap. But Blood and Sand trying again, but he's invalidated at the moment, so that won't be a qualified lap. But it did come up as a 1:10.7, so that would have put him provisional 5th.
We'll talk about drivers having another attempt here on their lap times to improve. The letdown estate on Red Bull was just finished, come through sector 1 on another set of soft tyres. It's looking like a relatively neat lap so far as well. He's using all the curve that he can to try and get the maximum drive. He's just coming up to the end of the sector 2 now, and he's just up on his own personal best. As again, he's coming into the tricky 3rd sector. Those curves can be dangerous, but this time, again, just keeping off them. It'll be interesting to know where this does put him compared to his teammate, who's up in P3, and he's gone wide at turn 13, and he's into the wall! It just shows how easy it can be to lose the car around that final corner. It's an unusual banking corner, which we don't really have much of on the calendar. So for one with such an incline, it's probably more retrospective to NASCAR, that speedway, than what the Formula 1 drivers are used to.
Well, there's quite an interesting documentary on the Dutch Grand Prix homepage about the construction of the track and how they complied with the FIA regulations of the 2.5 Gs lateral force, and how the banking kind of negated that to allow them to build the track there. Yeah, very interesting watch if anybody was interested.
Yeah, and it was interesting to hear them explain another positive that comes from that baking, aside from just being really cool. It allows the cars to be flat out through the final corner and get a good run down into turn 1, because the main straight isn't as long as most on the F1 calendar, so being flat out through the final corner just allows turn 1 to be a much better opportunity for some overtakes. And that's definitely our most popular spot that we're going to see today for some action.
Yep, we've seen some good overtakes at turn 1 during Wednesday's AL1 League. I think that's where a lot of the overtaking actually took place, to be fair.
It is a very tight and twisty track, so not a whole lot of opportunities to overtake. Except for maybe into turn 11, but it is very tight turning in there. You got the quick combination of turns 11 and 12, makes it tricky to go side by side through there. It's really just turn 1. It's the golden opportunity that our drivers will look for when they need to make a move.
To be fair, we did see a lovely overtake on turn 10. On a poor racing point. I don't know if anyone's caught that one, but just saying, it was beautiful round the outside manoeuvre by a Red Bull driver. Just perfection.
No. Someone told me pad OP as my pad sort of lagged and my car drove into the wall uncontrollably. Pad OP.
Yep. I mean, it looked like pad OP as I went round the outside of you, so...
Got some good comments on the stream. I think Diggle, who's all shut down, he's sorted his mic out now, so you should be able to hear him better with a couple of comments there. Oh. They're saying, "Hey, you guys, God King, yes." And Ailhan, evening chaps, evening everybody. Anybody watching who's an ex-wheel-to-wheel driver or wants to experience it for the first time, please sign up on our website. We've got a Facebook page, and yeah, just sign up where you can. Let us know that you want to join, and we can induct you to get you on track. But now, Blood and Sand has not yet set a lap, and the same for James Laws, who's just about to start another flying lap on a set of mediums. And Woody has put it onto pole on a set of softs with a 109.7.
And that comfortably beats last season's pole time, doesn't it?
It does. Last season's AL2 pole time, but I can tell you that the AL1 pole time was a 108.3, but that literally is a different league. But there was
very Michael Owen commentator of you on that one.
But the slowest AL1 time was a 1:10.05, then it was a 1:10.02, and there was only 2 seconds that separated the entire field. So some very close racing, but we'll see how close these AL2 drivers can get. Got Silver coming round and just finishing up a lap. Not really much improvement there.
Yeah, it does improve, but not enough to make a difference. We have a couple more drivers going out for what might be their final run as we get under 4 minutes left in the session.
We do have one of the McLarens going for another attempt now, again on another fresh set of softs. Looks like he's going to be trying to close the gap to his teammate Cal in second, trying to get the McLarens further up on the grid, try and get that track position. As you mentioned earlier, it is hard to pass around here, so track position is definitely key.
We've got Sega on a good lap. He had a purple sector 2. He's just coming round the final corner now. He's managed to save some ERS, but it's just ran out now. DRS open, and he does improve by 5 tenths. but it doesn't move him very high up the standings at the moment, only into 5th.
Looks like Dazzy there, he's a couple tenths off in the first and second sector, so he's going to have to really pull it all together as he's coming into the final 2 corners. You'd say the fast, flat right-handers of 11, 13 and 14 even, beg your pardon, comes round down to the final straight, across the line with the DRS open. Where's it going to put the McLaren driver? And he stays P6. Just 1/10 off his own personal time.
Yeah, we know that there's a lot of pace in them McLaren drivers. But CHM just rounding off one of his flying laps now. Can he improve? And he does by a second. Over a second. That puts him into 6th with a 1:10.7. Times are really getting tight now. The 2 Red Bull drivers just starting a flying lap, which may be their final attempt. I did notice that James Law and Blood and Sand still yet to set a time. James Law looked like he was going to round off a flying lap, but then pulled into the pits.
Yeah, there's not really any time to spare here. They've both got to get out immediately if they want to set a lap.
We're talking about James there, he's just come up the pits directly behind his teammate, who at the moment is currently on pole, so maybe he's going to be looking to follow the other racing point around, maybe get a bit of a tow, just try and pull his car up the grid with his the only chance he's going to get now for the session.
Xerxes was having a little bit of trouble behind the Mercedes of CHM there. Xerxes was on a flying lap, and I think before Xerxes caught him, I think the position in a Mercedes kind of put him off, and he lost a bit of traction, which just completely destroyed his lap. But the other Red Bull of a letdown estate is still flying behind, coming to the final corner now. And can he improve? And he does by 4/10, put him up into 8th place.
Oh, and his teammate Xerxes has put it in the wall coming out of turn 3. Xerxes would have been looking to put himself maybe on the front row. We know he has great qualifying pace, but he can't put it together there.
Oh. And I think Woody also had a little bit of an off, because his teammate James Law is now in front of him.
I was just watching that. I don't know if he was just trying to give his teammate a tow down the start-finish straight, just to try and help him out and then move out the way after the first corner. I didn't see anything with Woody in particular, but luckily the Red Bull of Xerxes did manage to gather the car out the way for James as he's on his one and only lap, like we say. It does look neat and tidy so far. I can't really see that he's put a foot wrongs, but with no time set so far, it's going to be hard to see how he stacks up against everyone else here. He's got purple in the middle sector as well. By the looks of it, again, that could be a graphic issue, like you've mentioned before. Brilliant around the final 2 corners now. He's going to run out of battery deployment as he is coming round 14. It does feel like it's an eternity again with the DRS wide open. Where's this going to put the racing point on his one and only attempt? Puts him P5. Only 5/10 off.
Lap.
Brilliant lap by James.
Ice in the veins of the Racing Point driver. Had to get it right on that lap, and he did well. Move himself from the bottom all the way up to 5th.
Maxi, oh, he's set in a purple sector too, but he's in the gravel. He's in the gravel on the inside of turn 12, so I don't know. I think he must have got purple from But last on the stream during this qualifying session, Silver race tonight. Das saying good luck tonight, everybody. And Zerk blocked again, he says.
Yeah, I was riding on board. It was really unfortunate where he caught the back of, I think it was CHM in the Mercedes. It's a difficult track to make sure you're out of the way for, as it's so thin and there's not really much runoff room anywhere.
Apologies if my mic's cutting out a little bit. It's
To be honest, I thought that was my connection. So.
Probably what happened on Wednesday, but let's run down the qualifying finishing order, and we have Woody on pole with a 109.7, then Cal in second, then Appleplex in third, Xerxes in fourth, James Laws in fifth, Sega to Cars in sixth, CHM in seventh, James in eighth, I Let Down Estate in ninth, Old Dad's in 10th, Maxi in 11th, Prev is in 12th, Silver in 13th, Blood and Sand is in 14th, rounding off the session, having not set a qualifying time. So at Wheel to Wheel we have a 5-minute break between the qualifying session and the race. This is so that our drivers can have a comfort break, a cigarette, toilet, or whatever they do in their own personal time whilst they're prepping themselves for 100% distance wheel to wheel racing. But this time I normally fill with a load of waffle about the standings. So we have at the top of the AL2 drivers standings at the moment, we have Cal, who's on an absolute winning streak, having won the last 3 races and having earned himself 2 extra points with 2 fastest laps also. But then it's a very interesting competition throughout the rest of the table, because we go from second place right the way down to about 8th place, where there is only 11 points that separate them. So 11 points separating second to 8th, which is led by a letdown estate for Red Bull. So very few points between these drivers in them positions, but the constructors, unsurprisingly, in AL2, they are leading. McLaren are leading at the moment with Cal and James driving for them. James is in 3rd place in the title, so they are holding up the top, 53 points in front of Ferrari and 64 points in front of Red Bull, where the constructors slowly drops off. But Red Bull in 3rd place in the constructors for AL2. However, at Wheel to Wheel we have a combined constructors championship going as well, so the constructors champions points from AL1 and AL2 are collected together, and an overall team score is given to the teams, and Red Bull are currently leading the constructors combined title.
Woo!
With 240 points, and they are 23 points in front of the McLaren boys.
Woo!
But it's a much more tight battle for the constructors in AL1, and it's also a tight battle for the combined constructors. So watch this space, see how we go. Can we get a new race winner for season 16 at Wheel to Wheel in AL2? Can somebody beat Cal? Can Cal manage this race incident free, as he has done pretty much all the other races except for Australia? He did have incidents at the start of Australia with traction off the line, but he seems to really have that under control now. So, but we have a weather report of sunny with a little bit of cloud, so there won't be any weather interruptions for this race. So let's see how we go here at Zandvoort.
Yeah, and talking about Cal, and he's been so dominant, but this is a track where it takes such intense focus every second of 72 laps. It is really taxing both mentally and physically for our drivers, and just the smallest mistake in this track will catch you out and send you into the gravel or a wall somewhere. So we'll likely be seeing some mistakes being made just because of the nature of the track. We'll see which driver can cope with it the best. This will be a big challenge.
Those were two very specific descriptions of what could possibly happen. Thank you. Around this track, if you lose concentration. Now, I'm intrigued to see what Woody can do, where he did bridge that 4/10 gap over Cal. Like I say, championship leader, he's been on a roll. But as we saw on Wednesday, all it takes is a bit like a DRS train, really. As long as the car behind's got someone behind him, you don't really know where to look forward or backwards. So it's going to be an interesting open couple of laps. But as the clock is now starting to tick down, I will let you guys take it away.
Yeah, and for any sports bettors out there, Silva Slugga is putting the line out that he is plus 400 odds to finish the race, which, if you're not familiar with sports betting, that means he's probably thinking he's not going to finish the race, which is maybe not the confidence you want to hear from our drivers, but I think he understands the challenge that lies ahead for all of our drivers here today.
Did have a quick comment, to be fair, regarding Silva on the stream here from Kirk. Silva's never had a trouble-free race in his life, so clearly those odds might be accurate.
So we will see how that goes. We'll keep an eye on the young American. But a lot of other drivers further up the grid that we'll have to keep an eye on as well. Of course, Woody Wolfe in the Racing Point on pole, leading our championship leader, and be interesting to see the difference in strategies between those two on the front row. Woody on the softer compound tire, so he'll be looking to pull away from Cal maybe in this first stint, because he'll know that Cal will be on the softer tire the rest of the race likely after that first stint, so he'll want to build a little bit of a gap while he can, because Cal will be coming back at him.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Like he's managed to put the car at the front in the Racing Point. All he has to do is precisely that. If he can bridge the gap, he's got a lot of quick drivers behind Cal that can really put him under pressure that are on the softs. And the opening 1 or 2 laps, it probably won't only be at that time where those softs are going to come to life a lot quicker than the mediums. I did see on Wednesday that the mediums took a couple extra laps in that respect to get up to temperature and get the grip going, but once they were in the zone, they were very, very reliable.
So then, Woody leading the pack around the formation lap, coming around the final corner. As we hope Appleplex is able to get back in his car, always tricky trying to rejoin during the formation lap. We hope that doesn't cause any incidents. It was a good qualifying session for Appleplex, qualifying P3, so we hope that he can get in his car for the start of this race. We see 14 drivers on the grid, the most so far this season in AL2. We'd love to have more if you're interested. You can always reach out and try to join. We look forward.
You twisted my arm, I'll join him.
We look forward to another exciting race at a really exciting venue.
And Appleplex's car has already left the grid.
Not sure what's going on there.
But there was obviously he did disconnect, so...
he's not even on my timing screens. Oh yeah, he is, beg your pardon.
He's in first because he's just drove off.
I think there may be an issue here, connection regarding Appleplex.
He's just doing his formation lap, that's all.
Normally we would have seen the 5 lights go on and go out by now. As I said, rejoining during the formation lap can cause issues at the start of the race. Unfortunately, it looks like that's what may have happened here.
Yeah, we may be seeing a restart in this session. But, point to note, most of these drivers are starting on the soft tyres as Appleplex's car is round.
He's had a very adventurous first lap here on his own. He's touched the gravel a couple of times and then put it into
And Appleplex has left the session, which means we are good to go. 5 lights are on. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing in the Netherlands. Woody is away, leading the charge down towards turn 1. It's a good start. He leads into turn 1. It's Cal holds on to second. And it is Xerxes trying to fight off the Williams behind.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of contact between Sega and Xerxes there, but there's a few ghost cars on track, so that might be an issue from the disconnection of Appleplex.
Talking about the collision there with Xerxes, he has already lost his front left end plate as well, which is not going to be good around here. Downforce is everything.
Sega to cars having a look at the Red Bull as they come towards turn 8. We'll be seeing how much that Red Bull struggles, just minor damage, but it is not a track where you want to lose any bit of downforce.
To be fair, just to point out here, we said about Woody, he's going to have to get a move on at the beginning, and he has done. The gap out to Cal, just about 2 seconds. And they haven't even come around to finish the lap yet, so clearly James is trying to put him under pressure, let his teammate get away.
It was a fantastic start from Woody in the Racing Point. It was clear of the pack into turn 1 and never looked back. It's a
James has
gap.
made a move on Sega to cars already, and he's now having a look on the inside of Xerxes. That move came out of nowhere. I didn't even see where that came from. Incredible opening lap here at Zandvoort. Let's see what other action we can catch during this race. Still a very tight pack near the rear.
It is the other Racing Point, James Laws, putting the pressure on Cal. The Cal, starting on the medium tires, going to have a challenge on his hands to stay in front of the Racing Point. And I think Maxi might have had a little bit of an off there, as we had a yellow flag in Sector 2 momentarily, and he's dropped to the back.
He's missing his right end plate, so there was contact there between him and somebody else.
Does show how tight the track is, though, like you mentioned, it's a very thin single file track for a majority of the lap, so if you do go too wide, unfortunately it can end up in a bit of contact like this and you can lose bits of your bodywork.
Oh, and Woody's sending it down the inside. Or no, that's James, excuse me, his teammate in the Racing Point. James Laws fighting Cal, our championship leader, and he's made his way past through turn 3.
That was a very nice move around the outside as well. Brave on the brakes, and he knew he had the grip on both sides.
Yeah, Cal's suffering on these mediums, on these couple opening laps, but they will benefit later into this stint as the soft tyres go off and his will be in their prime. But Xerxes still ahead of the McLaren of James. Xerxes now in a McLaren sandwich as he's beginning to try and catch the teammate of James in front of him. So I'm curious, we've seen quite a few cars struggle around that final corner during the qualifying session, so I'm wondering how people's setups are to cope with that with a full tank.
The Cal sticking with the back of that Racing Point. Got full battery as per usual, and is that Prev falling back a couple places?
Yeah, I think a letdown estate overtook him on turn 1, and then they were side by side coming out of that tight turn 4, and Prev just lost a bit of traction and then just went to the inside of the track and everybody passed him at that point.
To be fair, Blood and Sand again here with probably one of the better starts. So 4 positions already in the opening couple of laps, as we've already mentioned how hard it is to overtake around here. So he's making the most of other drivers making mistakes.
Sega now very close to the back of the McLaren of James. He's really trying to get to see if he can get an overtake opportunity here.
Talking about close as well, you've got a let down mistake right on the back of CHM. You've got these 4, 5 cars really all in the line. Like I say, a little bit of a training period where they're just pushing each other around in certain parts of the track.
Yeah, that train starting with the McLaren of James, and Sega might have a run at him as they come towards turn 11, but he just backs out. Very difficult place to overtake.
So the Red Bull of a let-down estate going to the back of CHM then.
And that was an end plate from the Red Bull as well gone, so both Red Bulls losing parts of their front wing early on.
Now Sega's gonna have another go with the McLaren, this time a better opportunity to overtake into turn 1. He's moved to the inside, he has a look. He's still having a look. See who can get the better traction on corner exit. They're side by side going through turn 2.
You've got to be brave to go through there side by side, I tell you. Jeez.
Now this is the slipstream I was talking about earlier. Down here you can really get the pace on your opponent who's ahead of you, but there's no real overtake opportunity. Incredible racing there.
And just to touch on there, a letdown mistake has brought the Red Bull straight into the pits here. He's put on a fresh set of mediums, so he's looking to go long now, as we can see. Well, we've seen him before stretch tyres out longer than they normally go, so it'll be interesting to see how it plays out throughout the race when everyone does make their first planned stop.
And Sega going over the curb and maybe making a little contact with the McLaren there. And he drops 3 places in the space of 2 corners. Really unlucky for Sega to cause.
I can't help but think Xerxes is probably enjoying this one here while he's got a bit of a wounded Red Bull as well. But he's got no pressure on him at the back because so far everyone else is fighting over that P6, so he's just enjoying himself at the moment.
Yeah, James and the McLaren having to do a lot of defending here in the opening laps.
And James in the racing point has broken the 1 second to cow now. More importantly, so if you can keep it above that bracket, it keeps teetering up and down, but if you can get above it before the DRS zone, he might just break through that McLaren and get after his teammate.
CHM really close now to the back of the McLaren of James. He will have DRS coming down here, as we say about this DRS train. Quite a few people in it.
Maybe a missed opportunity there. CHM used up all of his battery over the course of the lap, and then didn't really have much left to push with as he got onto the DRS straight.
We do know he likes to have a very quick car on a straight line there, very low downforce, so even without that battery deployment he still might be able to mount an attack, but it's not the longest straight.
Sega showing he still has the pace, bringing the fight to the Ferrari of old dads. But now CHM seeing danger behind him in the shape of a Haas driven by Blood and Sands, who we know has got some good pace. This is a real tight group of drivers here. Any mistake from any one of them and they're going to be losing positions, as Sega did a few laps earlier.
Oh, it's quite hard to follow cars around here as well. As soon as you lose the front end grip, some of these corners you really have to commit, going flat really as you hit the apex. Any drop of downforce can really send you offline.
Blood and Sand, similar to CHM the lap prior, really struggling with his battery deployment.
Just have to take back what I said the other lap as well. Cal has just reeled in James now. So those mediums are clearly now starting to come into their own as the softs are maybe starting to drop off a little bit. Because the McLaren driver's really creeping up to the back of the racing point.
Yeah, and Cal still with that full battery, so if he decides to use any to get past James, he will have plenty to work with, but we will see how he goes about it.
I know he's probably had an easier race than others, but just a shout out to the driver who's leading the Grand Prix at the moment, Woody. Hasn't set a foot wrong and he's now bridged a 7-second gap over the rest of the pack. So he knows how important it is that he's going to need as much time advantage now over Cal, because Cal is a very quick driver, like I'm saying.
CHM making a move past James, but there's a lot of rubbing of them tyres between the pair of them.
Little nudge off the track there from the McLaren. That could have been really dangerous through turn 12.
Yeah, CHM had the inside line on the first corner, but it looks like he's now under threat from Blood and Sand, who's moving up on the inside as he takes the outside line. But in fact now CHM almost looks to be taking the outside line around James, as it's very tight between these two here.
And old dad's maybe having a look at the Haas. They're all so close together.
Definitely getting their elbows out here this evening.
So incredible. Wheel-to-wheel racing as Blood and Sand goes
a little bit wide. That could have been a lot worse for the Haas driver. He did well to catch it when he did, and he's able to stay with this pack. Stay right on the back of Sega to cause as we move forward back to CHM. Just not able to close the gap enough this time around.
Just riding on board with Cal now as they come into the back onto the start-finish straight, even only 4/10 off the back of James. DRS is wide open. Only a little bit of battery deployment, so I think he's just letting that racing point just tow him along a little bit longer.
Old Dad's with his DRS and overtake, looking at the back of the Mercedes, but he's not close enough to make any move. But that makes Sega to cars overshoot turn 1.
We've just made that straight about 50 metres longer. That's all we need.
There is nothing to separate this pack of 5 drivers now. There is a tire difference, old dad's, on the mediums amongst the soft runners in this pack, so he'll be gaining an advantage as the lap goes on here, as the softs get more worn down. And maybe a little bit of a mistake there from James as he opens the door for CHM. CHM can't make his way past. And now old dad's might be on the track.
Old Dad's on the inside of CHM. Ooh, but CHM keeps hold of the position, but that puts Old Dad's wide, and Sega was having a look on the inside then as well, but all positions are still the same.
Like these guys are getting punished just for trying to have a go, because if it doesn't pay off, the guy behind you is right next to you.
It just goes to show you how much this track doesn't have very many overtake opportunities. These people are all rocket close together, but they just can't get anything done.
Talking about rocket close together again, Cal is nearly pushing the racing point as they come out of Sector 1 into Sector 2 here. So I don't know if he's biding his time or what, but he must be ready to make a move soon.
Old Dad's just be a little bit closer to CHM as they come through Sector 2. He falls back a little bit there, having to deal with that dirty air, just sent him a little bit wide. They now come towards Sector 3, still all within DRS of each other.
Oh, and we've had James has gone a little bit wide going through 14 this time, so Cal is right over the back of him, and the DRS open. They're going side by side now down the start-finish straight. McLaren driver has made the move way before turn 1 and he's back up into second place.
no! And Sega in the inside wall of turn 13, and also, who is that? The Ferrari of Prev.
Oh, and Silver's gone into the wall as well as they come around the top of the corner. I think they caught him out as well in the Haas. Definitely a bit of contact there on the front left of the Haas car.
Massive pile up there, and I was looking at the wrong car.
Safety car is out. No surprise, as we can ride on board with a letdown estate here as he comes around. The Sega Takosa's car already cleared off the track, but a big crash.
Debris
there
pretty much
brings
going
out
down
a
to the
safety
start
car.
and finish grid there. Bits of end plates and carbon fibre, but this is exactly what a letdown estate would have wanted. Mediums aren't that far into how long they can go for. Only Maxi and Prev so far have actually come in, so I know the other drivers weren't there just yet. Be interesting to see who goes on to what tyre, really.
I'm also interested to see, Mikey commented a short while ago, it's registered in Appleplex as a lap ahead, so I assume it's going to be a lap less in this race unless it changes in the AI pits, but I think we're just going to have to keep an eye on what's going to happen here, because Appleplex is registered as leading the race, so he will pick up the safety car first.
James has just picked up
Charles.
a 5-second penalty.
I do hope that
So we will reform this race under a safety car. Quick couple comments. Airland saying great battles going on here. Mikey, it's a belter of a race so far. Kirk, typical Silver. Oh, I think that might have been about around the crash, because then Mikey says, whoops, maybe I shouldn't have said belter.
Yeah, I believe it was Silver that actually did clip the wall as he came around the outside, so I think when he came up to that point where there were cars everywhere, just lost the control, but I can't help but think, did this safety car pitting this early on the mediums, would that have shortened Cal's stop? Any of the medium runners that have stopped now, I must have thought they would have been looking to take those tyres a bit longer into the race.
Trying to remember how long the mediums was good for. Seem to recall it.
So it's definitely longer than 15 laps.
It was longer than 15 laps. I think you take the softs 15 laps.
I was going to say, so a few of these guys who have started on the mediums, definitely having to change their strategy up. And out of all this, unless I missed it, every car stopped, I'm pretty sure, in the car safety car.
Let's have a look.
I forgot I could check that.
There's 3 cars that haven't stopped.
My apologies.
But it is a bit strange because it's saying we're on lap 16 and they've done 14 laps. But that's because of Appleplex's disconnected AI car, which is still going to be interesting to see. We're going to have a safety car restart under an AI car, which I don't think I've ever seen before, so that's going to be an interesting one to watch out for.
Just to quickly answer our question as well, Chewy's just commented on the stream there. Mediums 30 laps, softs around about 21. So definitely a shorter stint on the tyres than they probably were hoping for.
Yeah, but I think the prime strategy would have been medium, soft, soft possibly. So now, having pitted early on the softs, having pitted early on the medium, sorry, Cal may be looking to go soft medium.
It would have to be. It would have to be a soft medium unless he really looked after
soft
those
hards,
softs.
yeah. I think it'd be way too much to expect him to go soft now.
Well, hopefully everyone's had their chance to repair any damages they've collected over the opening part of this race, as they're all going to be bunched up to give us more excitement and get underway again. But like you say, behind an AI car, it'll be interesting to see when he decides to go.
It's going to be a very interesting one. Nearly ran the whole of the final corner before he's gone.
I think it's going to wait for the last.
Still hasn't gone completely.
When it let down his state, put the pedal to the metal, and just went right into the back of another car.
Oh,
and
I missed
glad
that
to
completely.
see here Appleplex's car ghosting, though not affecting proceedings too much, as Woody and James are able to get past, and now Old Dads comes through.
You mentioned that, to be fair. James did have a look up the inside of Woody into turn 1 while the ghosting car was there, so he nearly lost the lead there to the McLaren, just trying to get round the Mercedes.
James unfortunately picking up a penalty there.
I'm going to have to watch that footage back to see what happened to the letdown there, because I was too busy watching the front of the pack as they dove
I
into
caught
turn
it at the
1.
bottom of the stream. There was evidence of what happened. Obviously, they've come around the final corner. A letdown state thought it was go, 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 and his wheel came off.
A bit of a Bottas restart then.
Sort of, yeah. Under an AI car, so yeah. Difficult, that one. Maxi having a look on the inside of CHM, but no, CHM able to keep the position. This AI car of Appleplex is really making a lot of cars ghost at the moment, which I don't know if that's good or bad.
It is a very interesting situation we have. But still some close battles happening, as we have Cal on the back of Old Dads. Old Dad's stuck in between the McLaren boys on those old mediums, so Cal will be looking to get the move done pretty soon.
Yeah, we've seen Cal with pace on their medium tyres, so what's it going to be like on a fresh set of softs?
I think whatever it is, Woody's just wanting to get as far away as possible before he finds out.
Now, is this the moment for Cal? His teammate ahead trying to break the toe to the Ferrari, but Old Dads is able to maintain that straight line speed and keep fourth down into turn 1.
I would not want to be that Ferrari right now, I tell you.
In a McLaren sandwich.
Oh.
Yeah, can you imagine if that was Sainz's car in a McLaren sandwich? Have it just left McLaren for Ferrari.
Let's be real, it'll happen to Vettel at some point, man. In between two Ferraris.
Maxi is right on the back of CHM. Further ahead, though, Old Dads.
It's an incredibly tight battle here.
Tight racing up and down the grid today.
Cal has been using his overtake button, so he is trying to catch these cars. James Laws also joined in the party.
Yeah, and Blood and Sand and Xerxes not far away either.
So the new DRS train has departed.
Oh, they're so tight. Here as they come barreling towards turn 11.
And Old
Ferrari going
Dad's
side by side. Can he go the long way around? Oh, he makes it stick beautifully. What a move from Old Dads in the Ferrari, and now both McLarens just behind. Is he going to be able to hold off one, maybe both of them, coming down towards turn 1? They're both going to have DRS on him. He's deploying every bit of battery he has. Will it be enough to keep the position? James is coming back at him, but oh, Bads with some great defending around the outside.
I think we might be resolving the issue as well we have with Apoplex, as he was just rejoining to retire his car into the pits, just to kind of bring everything back into order.
Yep, hopefully that fixes that issue.
There was an incident further down the field with Prev. I wasn't able to catch what happened, but I could see on the mini-map that he come off. And hopefully didn't get too much damage because he didn't pit in, but I just can't take my eyes off this battle at the moment, as Cal is now looking around the outside of James, his teammate, as they will both have DRS now, heading down into turn 10.
And the racing point is round!
Just about to say that Prev's taken no damage, but I think that caught James out in the racing point completely.
Oh no, and Cal has lost control. I think he got too close to the back of his teammate.
It is all happening here at Zandvoort. This is crazy stuff.
And the God King himself is up in front of Cal.
It's absolute pandemonium.
Deadly.
I think that's the only word I can fathom.
I think Apoplex is now back into the pit, so this should resolve the issue. Fingers crossed what we have here.
Yeah, and he has retired his car in the pits. Well done to Apoplex for getting back in. It is really unfortunate that his connection wasn't able to get him in this race. Tried and rejoined, didn't work out for him, but we appreciate him retiring his car. And hopefully we can have a normal timing screen for the first time today, as Xerxes is right on the back of the Haas.
I think he was too close to the back of the Haas there.
I mean, to be fair, I think the only person that probably won't be so happy he's done it now is probably a letdown status due to that. It's unfortunately cost him his race.
But someone who I haven't been on screen with very much, but I must mention Woody, who's now the race leader after correcting Apoplex's AI car. Brilliant job he's doing, but there we have a Haas in the garage, and we have Cal looking up on the inside of Xerxes, and he's taken the position on turn 1. Can he keep it through the next couple corners? And he's still ahead, coming into sector 2. So it's all chaos has just settled down now into a nice steady race where everybody's got a little bit of a gap, bar the couple, as Xerxes is chasing down Cal to reclaim that position if he can. But Xerxes on the medium tyres.
I don't think he's going to want to let him go just yet.
Now he's still in DRS range, so he can still have a slipstream and an assisted straight line speed with the DRS. But he's definitely a distance away, so I think it won't be long before he's outside of DRS for good.
So further down we have James in the McLaren on those fresh medium tires, coming out behind the Ferrari of Prev. We'll see how quickly James can get this move done, if he can get it done. Shown good pace, but now on the slower tire than the car in front, but a fresher tire. We'll see how he navigates this.
one little battle that's going to come to light very soon is going to be the battle for second, where we've got Old Dads, who's being slowly caught here by Cal. I say slowly caught, he's being caught by Cal. And Xerxes just behind the pair of them, so we could end up with another three-way little DRS train happening here. But a second place in the race.
Oh, and Prev catching a little bit of grass there. They come through turns 8 and 9. James is right on the back of him, and Blood and Sand is catching the McLaren, and the McLaren catches a little bit of curb, and that might open the door for Blood and Sand here. Any tiny mistake can get punished around this track. So unforgiving.
Just going to say now, the train for second place is now down to just over a second, separating all three of the drivers.
Yep, Old Dad's definitely at a disadvantage here if you look at the tire situation. Still on those mediums that he started the race and qualified on, so they will be very worn compared to the 10-lap-old tires of Cal and Xerxes.
Yeah, Old Dad's doing a great job sticking to his original strategy, irrespective of the safety car, because it wasn't going to help his strategy, so he stuck to it.
See Cal with so much more grip than the Ferrari in front of him, just waiting for the right opportunity. Ooh, and he's going down the inside as they come towards turn 1. The McLaren is up into P2.
Yep, nice clean overtake from Cal. Now, can Old Dads stay in front of Xerxes, the God King? Or can the God King close the gap, as he does have fresher tyres?
Just completely missed that little train as well. Silver, Prev, James and Blood all together on track again, so just like that, they're all spaced out and just giving us more action. It's brilliant.
Yeah, Prev and Silva on older tires than the two cars behind them, so it would be interesting to see if they can hold off the McLaren and the Haas with James and Blood and Sand. James with such great traction through there, even coping with the dirty air, he's able to stay right on the back of the Ferrari. And he goes down the outside and misses his braking point a little bit and hits the back of the Haas.
Silver looking like he's having slight connection issues as well. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but James very deep into that corner on the attack.
Yeah, I think Silva left a little bit of room on the inside. Wasn't expecting what he got from the McLaren, but now two cars are going to try and go down the inside on the same corner, make it 3.
Oh no,
and the
two
teammates
has
have crashed.
Yeah, I missed that, damn it.
It's just crazy race, absolute pandemonium here in Zandvoort.
I jumped away from that action to watch the God King himself have a go at Old Dads as he was closing in on him. He was down
And
to like
James
2
is on the
tenths.
inside of Prev, and
James
they've
is
come
going
together.
inside and he's around.
It's just, I can't even talk.
The action is just non-stop here at Zandvoort. It is so difficult for all of our drivers to cope with.
But yes,
But now we
as
have-
Old Dad said, no, yes, go on.
The God King making a move up into the podium positions. A good race so far for Xerxes. The fans watching at home will be loving that. He makes his way past the Ferrari.
Stuff around here as well, without someone spinning off.
Yeah, it's refreshing, isn't it?
Yeah. Every time I cut away from that pack to watch old Dad's and the God King himself, something happened, so I cut back and I've just missed that move as well. I'm glad I'm not a cameraman.
I've missed a couple incidents today, but I think we've seen the build up to most of them. But we've got a couple comments. Alan saying I thought that we would restart the lobby at the start with the Apple issue. So, but that's something that I don't think we would call. I think we would wait for the on-track steward to make that decision if a restart was to be done. Why didn't James let Cal go? Unlucky laws as well. So that was the early incident between the two McLaren drivers, and where James Laws also went into the back. Cos saying, I'm alive! That wall is beautiful. First race on this track. God, it's impossible to overtake here, as we've got old Dad's coming in to the pits after 28 laps to change his medium tyres for a set of softs.
Just to look at the comments as well on the stream there, Kirk again, Slugger still alive. So it's very surprised to see he's still going.
Yeah, and just above that, Alan saying, what a silly, silly move. And I don't know which move he's saying, because I could apply that to a couple, to be honest with you. We've got old Dad's just coming out the pits on fresh softs right behind the Mercedes of CHM, and he's making light work of that as he's already up the inside and in front.
Interesting part of the track to make a move on, but it's clearly worked for the Ferrari driver.
Well, he's got absolute fresh rubber to burn past the McLaren driver of CHM, the Mercedes driver of CHM there.
Just an interesting one to note as well, just at the front here. I was just keeping an eye on the gap between Woody and Cal, just since Cal has cleared the other cars and he's on the softs, but due to the fact they're both on 15 lap old tyres and those softs clearly do not hold up as longer, the gap is actually extending for the Racing Point driver on the mediums at this point.
Fantastic. So good to see Pink on the podium.
You never said that when I drove for them.
No. I'd like to see Pink in my rearview mirror then. But yeah, Woody doing an incredible job. But Woody, I mean, I think nearly every driver has been involved in some form of incident, and I'm not sure if Woody has actually been involved in anything.
He got away from the start on lap 1 very quickly, and again on the restart as well. Had a slight touch with James in the McLaren, but managed to keep the lead, and since then he's just having a nice Friday evening drive, I think, around Zandvoort.
Yeah, but everybody else is having such a crazy race, full of pandemonium. That's the only word I can label it as, because it's just bonkers. DRS trains and lots of people patiently waiting to overtake, but as they're waiting to overtake, the guy behind them is looking to overtake them.
Just pure pandemonium.
Yeah. And we're not even halfway through this Grand Prix, so what more action can we see? We've not seen many penalties. We only have a couple, and they are all 3 seconds. James did have a 5-second speeding in the pits, but I think he has pitted and served that now.
Yes, he picked up another 3-second penalty shortly after as well, unfortunately, so, and that is why he would still have that there.
So interesting to see what Cal's strategy would be. As you said, you know, he pitted early on the mediums under that safety car to come onto them softs.
Oh, you've seen Maxi go wide there, and old Dad has gone straight up the inside round turn 12 on his fresh softs. So the runner driver just not breaking himself, however, he is going to get the DRS onto the back of the Ferrari as they come down onto the start-finish straight, but just don't think the drive on that Renault is going to be enough, as he's now pulling it into the pits there, so clearly the tyres are done.
Yeah, you can see the graining on that front left as he's pitting. 17 laps old on them, 18 laps old on them softs. And with the lovely thank you NHS logo on the halo. And I think he's probably having a wing change as well. That seemed to be quite a long stop, so must have been a new wing. That does bring him out into 10th. We only have 11 runners now, but at Wheel to Wheel we have points all the way down to 20th place. So finish the Grand Prix and you will score points. But coming out into 10th with fresh mediums, there's a lot of cars in front that are going to be doing some pit stops. So still can't count the Renault driver out, as in front of him James Laws is in the gravel. I don't think there was anybody around him there either, so that seems to be a driver error.
Like I say, as soon as you go offline around here, especially that middle sector, there's just a single line you really have to take, and as soon as you come off it, you're either on the inside or you're off into the gravel. So it was good to see that he did catch the car with enough run-off area there, but he's going to have to compose himself now and try and get it back into the groove, as his tyres are 9 laps old, but they've still got a bit of life left in them.
Yeah, he is missing his left end plate.
I missed that bit.
Yeah, we'll see if he decides to come in and get a wing change. It looks like he is going to pull in. So much has happened in this race, but maybe now the drivers can settle into a groove and let their strategies play out.
That does make James Laws now, having been lapped from his teammate. That does bring blood and sand back into this race as James Laws comes out not far in front. But they do have the McLaren of Cal to contend with soon, as they will be coming up to lap them, so they'll have to move out of the way for blue flags. Blood and Sand getting rather impatient behind James. He's got the fresher, well, he hasn't got fresher tyres, but he's got the faster tyre. So Blood and Sand, great exit there on the final corner. He's already alongside James as the DRS is open, and he's well in front before the braking zone. Next battle coming up, we got Maxi on silver.
Yeah, Maxi on the fresh mediums, Silva on the old softs. So big deficit in terms of grip for the Haas.
Especially around that final corner as well.
Yeah, Maxi making that move comfortably before the braking zone of turn 1. Silva not fighting it whatsoever. And Maxi back up into 8th.
Yeah, with an 18 lap difference in the tyres, I don't think he would have really wanted to risk anything right now. As the comments on the stream, you know, they've already suggested that the fact that Silver's still going is a miracle, so I don't think he wants to chance anything just yet. As you say, you finish the race, you get points, and he's doing a great job in doing so.
Yep. Will be interesting for the likes of Cal and Silva. They're going to have to be pitting here in the next few laps. And what strategy will they go with? They could go maybe mediums to the end from here.
I think that's what Cal might be trying to go for, because he's losing, well, he's lost nearly a second over the last 2 laps to Woody. So if that is what he's trying to go for, he's trying to take the hit early on maybe to try and claw it back later. Right as we talk about him as well, unfortunately Silva has picked up his first 3-second penalty of the Grand Prix, but he is still going.
Yeah, not a track where we see a whole lot of track limits penalties, but there's a couple corners where you can get caught out.
Don't say that, I didn't get any penalties on Wednesday, so, you know, I thought it was quite an achievement.
Oh. We have 4 drivers with track limits penalties as of now. None in the top 3. So any battling that happens between them, that will be that.
Just looking at the tyre life for all the drivers that are still going at the moment, there's such a variety of just trying to make heads or tails of who is doing what and when, really. Just can't really work out what everyone's trying to do in that sense.
Yep. Got no idea who's going to come out where for the last stint. I'm not even going to try to work it out because who knows what might happen.
I think at this stage, though, Woody, if he does pit, he should safely come out in 3rd, or sorry, beg your pardon, 2nd even. He should jump Xerxes.
It is
besides that, yeah, don't know.
About somewhere between a 17 and 20-second pit stop, I believe. It is one of the shortest we have on the calendar because you just come flying in right in the middle of the start-finish straight and then sort of get to cut turn 1 a little bit. It is definitely one of the quicker pit roads that we have in terms of overall stopping time. Well done. There's strategies to look for now. No battles happening on track. So we can go ahead and look at who has made up the most positions so far in this race. We see Old Dads has gone up 6 places. Prev also gone up 6 places. The top 2 have stayed the same. Xerxes made up a position. And everyone else really benefiting off of those who have retired.
I know we've mentioned this strategy quite a lot in the last couple of minutes, but Silva, Prev and Cal all on 20 plus old softs now, 23 laps each. But surely they are all going for the mediums to the end.
Yeah, that does look to be the ideal strategy. The softs are going to be getting pretty worn right about now. According to Pirelli, they can go a maximum of 28 laps. See, James Laws has left the session. We don't like to see that.
Well, left the session, it could be a involuntary disconnection.
No, yeah, but still unfortunate to see. If it was a disconnection, it's unlucky for him.
While we've been filling that gap there, Maxi has slowly crept up to the back of James in the McLaren, so we might have a little bit more action going on here soon. As I say that, Maxi's just run a little bit wide as he's come through 14, but he's still on the fresher tyres by around about 10 laps there, so he's most likely going to be on the back of that McLaren within the next lap or 2.
Yeah, Maxi on the much fresher tires. Interesting, he's had 3 pit stops, but he does look to be in a position to make up a few places here.
Been letting off there
drive.
so he doesn't get too close to the back of James.
Yeah. And James with hardly any battery available to defend, but Maxi hasn't got much more. in the Renault.
The grip and the traction coming out of these corners is just such a difference. He's backing off so much as well before they come into the braking zones. So looks like he might be lining up for the move if he gets a nice drive. But snap of oversteer as he comes around the corner. It's nice to see that James has got back into the session. Coming around turn 14 now. Is he going to be close enough to try it down as they come onto the start-finish straight? James moved across to the right here to block the toe. The straight isn't long enough. He's clipped the wall. Just a cheeky little kiss on the inside. Luckily, it doesn't look like any damage has come there to the Renault. But we go at it again for the next lap.
Oh, and a much better drive out of turn 3, and here comes Maxi, and more contact.
There's a little bit of carbon fibre come off.
Gets a 3-second time penalty for good measure as well. That was due to track limits, as he had to save it from hitting the wall, but still went into the grass a little bit. Maxi is up into 7th.
James Law's retired in the pits now, which is
yeah, really unfortunate for him.
Yeah. Comment on the stream, Alan. Maxi chopping at the wheel as if like he's driving with the D-pad. No, I think I know what he means. As he come out of turn 14, he was very, how would you call it, jarring on the steering wheel. He was turning and not and turning and not.
Like the old NES controller, just left and right. That was it.
Yes, D-pad, yeah. So, James in the pits having a wing change. So he didn't like missing that end plate. And immediately into replace it, and he's in front of the Haas, who's in also. Also for a wing change.
Slug it. And I think we'll see Cal in the next lap or two, as well as Prev on those old softs. They are pushing it right to the limit here.
Prev on those 27 lap old softs is actually catching the Mercedes at CHM at the moment on the 26 lap old mediums. So I don't know where he's finding this grip from, but he's definitely still going. And again, as I say it, he's gone straight off. I'm just going to stop talking at this stage because I'm pretty sorry. But yeah, he's still doing one hell of a job here. 27 laps on those tyres. They must surely be coming to the end of their life.
And Blood and Sand now has the McLaren of James in his sights. James going a little bit wide. Turn 10. DRS for the Haas, but no real opportunity to make a move this time around.
Well, the gap between the leading duo in that respect, between, well, I say duo, Woody and Cal. Woody's practically got the pit stop now over Cal as well at this stage, so Cal is going to really need to put his foot down if he wants to claw something back in this latter half of the race.
Couple comments on the stream. Alan, Diggle jinxing drivers like he jinxed himself.
It's always nice to know I've got a teammate that supports me.
Yeah, he does support you very well.
Well,
in his own special way, he supports you.
Yeah, I was going to say, the word you're looking for there is carry.
Yeah.
Oh, and James looks like he's really struggling on the grass and the gravel a couple different times there.
Yeah, really surprising. I think James might be a little bit rattled because he came out the pits just in front of Blood and Sand on the fresh tyres. He's not been able to shake him at all.
Yeah, DRS once again for the Haas. Keeps within that 1 second window, even on 13 lap old softs, as opposed to the fresh softs of James.
Just to answer to Aylin there on the comment on the stream, yes, I know you've got a sore back, mate. You are carrying me, like I say. I'm not hiding that fact, but cheers for pointing it out.
Great team chemistry they've got at Red Bull.
Oh, come on.
Even Cos is having his pick at you now, Diggle. I'll let you read the comment.
I'm sure Diggle said that I was catching the pack and I was doing great just before I hit the wall. I'm sorry, but I may not have even been watching you, so no, I'm joking, I probably was, and apologies if that was the case. Oh, at this rate, I might as well say, and it's going to be raining. Let's spice it up a bit.
We had a yellow flag, and it looks like Woody has got some little bit of dust on his tyres, so I think he went a little bit wide there. We'll see the timing screen shortly. As Cal, takes a couple seconds out of him as he catches the same part of track as Woody would have gone off. But still losing a couple seconds. Woody comfortably 18 seconds in front. Both looking to pit soon. Just trying to look out for this graining on Cal tyres. It's looking like he's having to ease off on the throttle coming round a couple of these corners, but he is coming into the pits now. 30 laps on these soft tyres he has done. Very impressive stuff. And onto another set of softs.
Oh wow, okay, I was just about to say, he's definitely within the window to go mediums, but he's gone into another set of softs.
I think that may have been the reason why he was stretching those softs so long. If he was going to go mediums, he could have pit about 10 laps ago and been perfectly fine to go mediums to the end, but he wanted to be on softs for his last stint. And now he's got less laps to go than what he just did on a set of softs, so if he feels he can manage it, then he will be on the quicker tire all the way to the end.
I saw the comment. 27 laps on the softs is definitely going to be a great feat to pull off, especially with the pace he's going to need to catch back up to Woody. And yes, just to recognise the comment on the stream there as well, Alan, my good old friend, Jules theme, but only saying the word dribble.
Is that better than my Jason Derulo? Diggle, diggle, diggle.
I personally like that one.
Yeah. But Prev doing a fantastic job. 31 laps on these soft tyres, and I'm trying to pick up the grain, and you can just see it in the sunlight there on that front left tyre. That is ugly. Horrible graining on that tyre. But he's got Maxi for company now behind him on some fresh medium tyres, or fresher than his 31 lap softs.
Being so mean to the tire balloon.
I was going to say, just went in on me. Jeez, man, gotta relax.
Tire has feelings too, man.
Well, there'll be a rather slippy feeling on Prev's car. 31 laps. Coming on to his 32nd. Is he going to be pitting? And Maxi is!
Maxi! Can he save it? Oh. He does well to stay alive there and minimize the contact made with the wall. He will need a wing change.
I hate to see that happen, but however, Bloom, that was all you commentating on that just then, and look what happened. I just want to clarify.
I'm not sure if that was me, but we've got some right cars going on here. I've seen James. James just got overtaken, so I don't really know what's going on.
Did he? I think he must have had an off for Blood and Sand to be 7 seconds. What is going on? Blood and Sand right on the back of Maxi after the Renault comes in.
Pandemonium.
Sorry. There's a lot of cars going on here, yeah. There's 10 of them going around the track. Oh, again, with the comments on the stream there, cars, pit, Max, in. In.
Yeah, Maxi did crash at the right stage there to do a McLaren in.
Pulled Lewis Hamilton in Germany 2019. Similar. Crashing at the last corner.
Yeah.
Luckily, in this instance, for Maxi, his pit crew was ready for him.
Yes.
So the virtual Renault crew, much better than the real-life Mercedes crew. No debates there.
So Prev did come in after 32 laps on them soft tyres. The next long runners, we've got 33 laps on the medium tyres for Xerxes and Woody. But considering we've had cars carry the soft tyres 32 laps, stop laughing at me.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
This is what I do. I just ramble over my words, and eventually something that makes sense comes out.
If someone can make a snippet video of all the little one-liners that are said during these commentary sessions, I just love that. They're great.
But Woody coming into the pits now, 34 laps on his medium tyres, looking to put on a fresh set of softs. He looks like he does have a pit stop to the God King behind him. Definitely got a full pit stop to Cal, who is his main threat.
Yeah, he's going to come out. He's going to come out comfortably in front of Xerxes in the Red Bull. So it really is Woody's race here. Got such a big gap. He's on the soft tire for his last stint, which is what you'll want, as that car is in its optimal state with the low fuel load. Being on the quickest tires, definitely the ideal scenario at the end of the race.
Just to follow up quickly here on the comment on the stream for Chris. Yes, Chris, if you do run on the tyres too long and you do push them too far, you will get a puncture. So there we go.
Just to speak about the Zandvoort circuit in real life, I am very much looking forward to the race here in September. Although, I think we've seen here today the difficulties that the drivers might face in terms of overtaking, and also big factor in real life as Xerxes is coming in. But the dirty air that these cars are going to deal with following one another, it's really going to be difficult when Formula 1 comes here later this year.
With the amount of cars that, well, for example, like the Mercedes over the past couple of seasons in real life, they set their car up to lead the Grand Prix, and when they do get stuck behind certain cars, they do struggle. Typically, I do think, ironically, it is going to be a strong track for somewhere like the Red Bulls, just because they always have a good chassis for these smaller, tighter tracks in that respect, where you don't need the horsepower to really make the difference.
Yep, this is definitely a more chassis or aero reliant track rather than horsepower.
This is definitely looking like a Perez first win for Red Bull, I just want to say,
Ooh, Max won't like that in his first home Grand Prix. His teammate.
He's got Austria as well, it's fine. You can't have two home Grand Prix.
Well, I do like the virtual fans. Codemasters has done well. The sea of orange. The sea of orange in all the grandstands is really cool to see. And I hope that the COVID situation is better than it is now once we get September, because the atmosphere at this place, as you say, Red Bull probably going to be very competitive around here with their golden boy Max Verstappen in his first home Grand Prix. It will be a sight to see.
I hope the situation clears up for a lot of the season for us, even to watch in regards to this year, just because the crowd do make up so much more of an atmosphere, and I know a few people that are actually going to Zandvoort this year, myself going to Silverstone, so
Sweden,
as long as we can actually still go and interact in that respect, because it's just something else to be there.
As you say, hopefully Max will do well here. Otherwise, it will be then known as the Dutch Grand Pandemonium, because there would be pandemonium on track for Max not to do well, and there'd be pandemonium in the grandstands if that were to happen.
Scratch that, we need a video counter for how many times the word pandemonium's been used.
Pandemonium!
I'm gonna get you a t-shirt with that on, Blue.
Grand Pandemonium.
Like a football jersey with a number as well.
Xerxes banging in the lap times on those fresh, soft tires. He's comfortably looking to be holding on to that third place, being on the podium. Looking forward to having the God King in for a podium interview. Always a pleasure. Such a genuine, kind soul. If you've talked to him, then you know that isn't true, but we love him nonetheless.
Laughter is the best medicine. The God Doctor.
You're killing it, Boom.
Sorry. Comment on the stream as well. Kirk, 20 laps to go basically for Slugger, having the race of a lifetime. So clearly he's got his #1 fan here watching.
Slugger is really bringing it for his fans, isn't he?
He is the lone American on the grid in AL2, so everyone this side of the pond willing their boy to get to the line for the first time this season, representing the American Haas team. And the fans definitely excited to see what he can manage these last 20 laps.
You've got to be careful what you say as well, Matty, so because according to Aylin here, the God King knows and hears all, so watch what you say.
I hope he does hear it.
You're calling him a gentle soul. But old dad's in the pits, fresh set of softs. It doesn't look like he can improve much from 4th place unless we was to have more pandemonium here at the Dutch Grand Prix. CHM also pitting now. 38 laps on their medium tyres, so he's done well there. But the fastest lap at the moment is being held by Woody. It's difficult to tell because of Appleplex's disconnected car having glitched out the fastest lap onto himself. But currently being held by Woody, but a lot of these cars putting on fresh soft tyres. They are going to have a fair fight for that fastest lap point.
To be fair, even if Woody doesn't come away with it as much as I don't think he'll be too disappointed because he hasn't set a foot wrong this evening. 54 laps and he's led every single part of it. So I think he must be happy with the drive he's doing. If not, I'll be very confused.
Maxi looking like he is gaining on Prev, so that may be our next battle that we'll be seeing here.
Not too far behind as well, CHM on the press softs, like you say, so we could end up with another little three-way tussle here.
I always love a good three-way, so hopefully we get another one. Here, on track.
I thought you were going to say you like a good tussle, but...
CHM on fresh tires. Maxi, slightly older but soft tires. Prev on mediums.
And
hopefully we see them
softs,
coming together.
Not so as fresh as CHM softs, so just in the middle.
Yes. It is interesting how this race has settled down here in the second half. It was non-stop action all the way from the front to the bottom. And now I think everybody is sort of satisfied with being where they are at this point. So much happening, so many drivers going out.
Got James trying to unlap himself on the God King.
I don't think he realises nobody passes the God King.
Well, it's also slightly frustrating, certainly when you're the lead car, when you've got a ghost coming in and out. I was trying to think of a way to say that without sounding weird, but, you know.
Just going to say this race definitely was... It does take its toll on you. Like you mentioned earlier on Wednesday, it does. You really do have to focus. It feels like it goes on for eternity, and these drivers at this stage will definitely be feeling that as well. Normally 56 laps, you could be looking at 100% round Melbourne or somewhere like that. But They've still got a chunk to go. It's like Monaco, just without the walls.
But much faster than Monaco, so if anything, I think it's a different challenge, but requires much more, I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for, but there is a yellow flag, and it is Maxi in the wall, and in the wall again, trying to stay out of the way.
And they've brought out a safety car.
Takes out full cause caution.
That is not what Woody would have wanted, not with this.
And he dives into the pitch straight away. Really great timing for the racing point. Our leader's able to dive into the pits and get those fresh softs on. Try and hold on to this win.
That safety car has just caused pure pandemonium for the last section of the race.
The only grace might be here is I think CHM is going to be in between Woody and Cal, but Cal's pitted. Xerxes has not pitted, and he will jump Cal now in the pits. He will have 6 lap. He will have 6 lap older soft tyres, but they will make the end. Oh, and his stopping on track is going to have to meet his delta.
But he's still cleared the race. No, he's separated them both, hasn't he? Yeah. Just like got completely thrown around there. Yeah, no, he has cleared Cal and McLaren, so with a handful of laps to go, those tyres should be okay, but the 6 laps on the softs at a certain point is definitely going to make a difference.
Well, unfortunately, under the F1 2020 game, you can't unlap yourself as a lapped car under a safety car, so Woody has got CHM behind him, which as soon as the track goes green, CHM will be getting blue flags and be expected to move out of the way. Xerxes will then be immediately behind, but between Xerxes and Cal, there is also another car, which is Blood and Sand.
There is going to be an awkward mix of lapped cars in between those top 5.
Hang on, Blood and Sand's just overtook Xerxes.
He just overtook Xerxes, yeah, so now there's 2 cars between Xerxes and Woody. And nothing between him and Cal.
Interesting, man.
I know in the game you do get that delta to tell you to pass the car in front or let by, so it could have been one of those issues, but that is not what Xerxes would have wanted.
No.
Woody would definitely be wanting something like that.
So the 2 Ferraris on the lead lap are going to be at the back of the pack here on the restart. CHM in 6th, but a lap down to the leader. This is going to be a very awkward restart for a lot of our drivers.
I just hope you guys are ready to catch all the action like we did for the opening part. Is this all going to happen again?
I can tell you what it's going to be. It's going to be chaos. But as we say, Woody leading this Grand Prix. He has got 3 cars between him and Cal, who's been his main threat. But Xerxes managed to jump Cal in the pits, who is in front of Xerxes. Oh, god damn it. Xerxes is in front of Cal, who jumped him in the pits. So he will be pleased with that, but he's got 7 lap older tyres than Cal to try and defend. We know that Cal's got some incredible pace as well.
Just want to quickly throw out an important comment on the stream that Alan just finishing up what you were going to say there with pandemonium. And there we go.
So we see the Ferrari of Prev just getting close to the back of the pack. Hopefully that won't initiate the safety car coming in, because it's quite short notice.
I hope not. I hope not.
I think it's going to be
she's going to have to go another lap.
Lights are still on. Safety car is staying out. 1 more lap.
It shouldn't be as messy as we saw obviously last time. So
Bert Mylander making the right call there.
To be fair, well, they are doing what most likely is going to be the last lap behind the safety car. I just want to throw out there the new Aston Martin that they've released.
Oh, it's beautiful.
The safety car and the medical car, just absolutely gorgeous.
Yes.
Saw a nice video of
Oh,
before
Zerx is
testing.
getting very close to the back there of Blood. Sorry to cut you off there. Behind the safety car, he was weaving and he locked up and then went straight into the back of the Haas.
Yeah, before testing happened today. Yesterday we got a look at the safety cars going around Bahrain International Circuit, and it was beautiful to see both the new Mercedes and Aston Martin safety cars. So
We'll have to look that one up because I missed that one, unfortunately.
yeah, it was very cool to see her. The safety car drivers absolutely sending it around there.
It was nice to see they brought in a new safety car as well, in that respect, just because of the speed that they normally go. And the amount of drivers that we do here in real life complaining, needing them to speed up. But there we are, safety car is in this lap, so hopefully these guys have all got their tyres ready to go, up to temperature, and we're going to be in for one hell of a last 13 laps of the Grand Prix.
There is a lot of lapped cars intertwined with cars on the lead lap. But hopefully it all sorts itself out.
Xerxes looking up the inside of the Haas there, ready to try and pounce on those lap cars. He's going to want to get past them as soon as possible because we know what pace Cal has, and he's going to pounce on the back of that Red Bull at the first chance he gets.
Yep.
Woody, well away.
Oh, and he's taken off there. Got a big gap.
As I say it, Cal's right on the back of Xerxes as well as they're coming down into turn 1 on the restart. Cal's gone up the inside of the Red Bull. Layer on the brake, sends it up the inside on the fresher tyres.
Oh, and the switchback from the God King!
Incredible move there.
Pure pandemonium between the Red Bull and the McLaren.
And James is off. James had an off back there. Woody flying away with this race, but Xerxes and Cal really having a battle here.
Just to throw it out there, Sega Cos commenting on the screen there, on the stream, sorry, I'm scared. Everyone has to buckle themselves in, it's going to be one good last part to the Grand Prix.
Blood and Sand doing well to get out of the way of this battle here as he's a lap down. Cal will continue to try and hunt down the God King in the Red Bull.
And as you say, that Blood and Sand moving out of the way for all these drivers. CHM has got right up onto the back of him as well, and that is for position.
Yeah, well, Blood and Sand got the position off CHM on the restart. As CHM moved out of the way, Blood and Sand made his way through.
The gap already nearly 4 seconds for Woody as well. So he really is wanting to make sure he gets ahead here. Xerxes, I can't imagine, is going to want to hand over that position anytime soon from McLaren.
That was some switchback off the safety car restart from Xerxes. He didn't get a good restart at all. Cal was all over him, but God King putting the moves on the young McLaren driver on the much older tires, but still able to keep his position for the time being. But for how much longer?
I must agree, it was an incredible switchback. That's got to go on the shorts at the Wheel2Wheel YouTube page.
He loves putting on a show, doesn't he? Xerxes, for all his fans around the world. Millions watching intently. He's trying to defend second place here. Just 11 laps to go now.
He's
Going to be a big off.
Doing a great job.
McLaren, yeah, behind him. Like we said, it's hard to pass around here, but we've also seen what Cal can do. Now he's on the fresh softs as well. It's going to be an interesting battle.
Silva Slugger goes a little bit wide into turn 1, and he drops back to 10th, and James gets back up 1 place, and Maxi's having a little bit of action with CHM.
But don't worry, Silva is still in the race.
He is looking like this could be his first career wheel-to-wheel finish. But further ahead, we've got a couple of battles between Maxi and CHM, and of course Cal and Xerxes. TRS for the McLaren is not able to close the gap enough to have a move. He might do into turn 1, and is
Maxi is off.
not Renault with Maxi?
Again, same place. He came off here last time and caused a safety car.
It doesn't look
get a look
like
at the front end of the car.
Doesn't look like there's much damage, if any, on that front wing. But now we must jump back up to the battle for second. Xerxes able to maintain that position into turn 1.
Just to double check here on the comments on the stream as well, I think that would have been regarding the move between Xerxes and Cal. Max, calm. He was definitely one hell of a switchback, and he's going to be putting up a fight now against the McLaren driver.
This is what the fans have come to see. Xerxes and Cal to hash it out over 10 laps now for second place. DRS once again for the McLaren as they come towards turn 11. Cal opting to just sit behind, not use any overtake.
He's going to have to make the move sooner or later though, because the gap to Woody already nearly 5 seconds. They go crossed over the 5-second mark. If Cal wants any chance at having a go at the lead for the race, he's going to have to make a move on the Red Bull sooner rather than later. He's running out of laps.
Yeah, and I'll be quite honest, I don't know if that's a realistic possibility for Cal at the moment. Woody has had great pace all day, hadn't put a foot wrong. I don't see that gap shrinking even if Cal can get past the Red Bull.
There's probably a few too many laps left of this race.
I think we've all experienced having a car following you around here as well. The amount of pressure it does put on you as well while you're trying to focus on getting the right line for every corner as it's such a fast-flowing track. Xerxes doing one hell of a job here. Keep that McLaren behind.
The McLaren's almost hurting himself by being so close going around there. Must be suffering with some dirty air. But Cal tickling his overtake. He's still got plenty in reserve. A little bit more than Xerxes have, but Xerxes has got half a battery to defend. Cal dropping right back now. Will still have DRS. Flicked his overtake on for a moment, but he's well too far back from Xerxes, who's doing a grand job keeping that second place hope alive.
Yeah, I think Cal would have been expecting to cruise past the Red Bull on the restart and maybe have a go at the racing point, but at this point, as there's the yellow flag in Sector 3, I'm not sure what
Silver
that's
going very slow down the start-finish straight. I think Silver may have, I don't know actually, he's got the yellow indicator on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen there indicating he's low on fuel, but I don't know what's going on here.
He doesn't look to have damage, so maybe just a little bit of
something doesn't look right. He's
error.
not going as fast. I think he's actually really trying to save
look
fuel.
at his throttle. His throttle is only half down. I think he's got a control issue.
That's what I was thinking as well.
Not
We
a
must
fuel issue.
I must
jump
flick
back.
Yeah.
To Cal, who's having a right go at the Red Bull. Switches to the inside as they come down towards turn 1. And Cal is able to make it stick this time up the inside. Cal into P2.
Yeah, using all of his overtake to get that move done, but Xerxes will not be far away.
Just to quickly throw back there in regards to James Lawson, who we did lose earlier on, just commenting on the stream there, the game had crashed, out of all things to happen. And he was put onto the wrong tyres as well at the pit stops, so it's very unfortunate to hear that has happened.
Silver's struggling with his control. He just can't get a full throttle down.
That is very interesting to see. Really unfortunate.
Sure that's not a fuel issue?
No, the fuel light turns yellow when you're very close to,
Oh, yeah,
between, even on projected fuel or down less than a lap. If you go further than that, I think it starts turning red. So flashing yellow is not a serious issue.
Whatever the issue was, it looks like he's fixed it because he's got full throttle back now. So
slight mechanical issue for the Haas, but their mechanics are able to work it out.
He rode the inside curb a little bit too much there. Managed to get a lucky escape and keep control of the car.
Well, the gap to watch at this stage is going to be the 4.5 seconds, I think, between Cal and Woody.
Oh, he has closed the gap.
He really is. It's a tall order, but Cal's shown pace all season, and we haven't really seen the comparison on the softs between these two drivers yet.
Yeah, and we also have his teammate James in the other McLaren closing the gap to CHM.
That gap is dropping so quick between Cal and Woody. And it looks like Cal's decided to use his battery now, so most likely that's why.
Yeah, I don't know if there's enough time for him though.
Got 5 laps left.
Going to be 5 qualifying laps, I think he's going to need.
Oh, and he has cut a lot of time out of that delta.
I think if Woody could be good enough timing here, no, unfortunately, I was thinking maybe he might get the DRS off of Silver, but Silver has let him go as he's now gone to a lap down on the racing point itself, but that McLaren is cutting the time out of the racing point. We need one of those predicted striking distances graphics to pop up right now, because it is going to happen.
I think lap 71 is my prediction.
I think it's going to be last lap. 72.
He has sort of not caught him at as high of a rate that lap. I think once Woody cleared the lapped car. Once Woody cleared the lapped car, he was able to maybe go a bit quicker than he was. The gap's still closing, maybe not as quick as it did. Awkward position here for Slugger to try and get out of the way.
We are lucky for ghosting though, so it does give him the benefit that he can carry on onto the racing line.
Tried his best to move over to the left there, but a very awkward sector of the track. There's really only one line you can take. Now then, the gap still shrinking.
You can see the racing point now as well, so as soon as you see another car, it gives you something to aim for. You can push that a little bit more.
3 laps, 3 seconds difference.
Could be a last lap attempt. He nails every lap now until the end. Like I say, 3 qualifying laps, it gets put him right into the back of the racing point for 1 attempt.
I think Slugger just caught the wall on that final corner as he was coming out there, and he's missing his left end plate now.
But he's still going with 3 laps to go, so that's all.
He is, and even if he crashes out now, he will be classified, so he will score points.
But he's not going to, he's going to finish the race, so
he is.
It doesn't matter.
Yes.
Oh, now I've said it. Sorry.
No, we both said it, so we can... It's double commentator's curse.
I was going to say, do they cancel each other out? Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
2 wrongs make a right, don't they? Maxi in the pits.
Just to say, I think Woody's responded on this lap as well, because the gap hasn't actually changed. It's still around about 3.5 seconds, so I think the racing point is answered the charge of the McLaren, showing that he is not willing to give up this race.
Matt, I like this comment on the stream. Kirk, thank you, Slugger. The United States is proud.
Oh my goodness. Oh man.
But we are on lap 71 here. 3 seconds splits first, second, and then 3 seconds splits second and third. Top 3 drivers, no penalties between them. But incredible race from all 3 at the top there. And there's been some incredible
pandemonium going on behind them.
Absolute pandemonium. But Woody having a very faultless race. He did have a 20-second lead before the final safety car. But he's now
back there with Silver, who's got red fuel. Sorry to cut you off there.
And that might be a fuel issue now.
I think he might actually be out of fuel.
But he can still get to the finish as his teammate comes by to lap him.
Just got to keep that car moving around one more lap, lift and coast as much as he can. Because and Xerxes looked like he had a little bit of a moment there as well, coming through turn 1. Ended up in the pit exit lane. Just got to keep it on the track for just one more time around.
Now then, we move ahead to the man who has dominated today in qualifying, put it on pole, got a flying start, and never ever let up. I think he led just about every lap of this Grand Prix, and we have a new winner. Move over Cal in the McLaren. The Racing Point of Woody Wolfe takes the checkered flag, and Woody wins the Dutch Grand Prix.
Well-deserved drive, a well-deserved win, sorry, beg your pardon. Brilliant drive from the Racing Point as well. Cal coming home in second there. We're going to just see Xerxes round the final corner here for Red Bull, bringing it home for the top 3 as well. Brilliant drive from all 3 of those drivers there.
The God King on the podium. Great drive from the Red Bull man. Old Dad's with a good drive, finishing 4th. And his teammate just coming through the last couple of corners. Blood and Sand and James finishing up as well.
Just keeping an eye on Silver here, who's cruising around the last corner at a whopping 95 mile an hour with no fuel left in the car. But he is going to finish the Grand Prix.
And there goes Slugger across the line, finishing 10th. And we have just the Renault of Maxi, who slows right down and stops and smells the roses before he crosses the line. 9th. Credit to all of our drivers for finishing today. Such a big test. Blood and Sand, driver of the day, dealt with some adversity but made his way back into the mid-pack. Great drive from him. Well, only one word can describe that one.
Chaos.
We'll let Bloom answer that.
Absolute pandemonium.
That's 2 words.
Lots. Yeah, it was, but you know. Incredible race.
Chaos was describing the moves on the podium just there.
I think if you guys have Woody Wolfe on your friends list, you guys could add him to the party. I don't think I do.
Yeah, I will do that now.
Give Xerxes an invite.
Yes. So, our final classification for the Dutch Grand Prix in the Wheel2Wheel Racing AL2 Championship. Woody Wolfe on pole, dominated the race, finishes P1. Cal takes the second step this week. Xerxes, the God King, rounds out the podium positions in 3rd. Old Dad's in 4th with his teammate behind in 5th. Blood and Sand in 6th. CHM 7th. James in the McLaren finishing 8th. Maxi in the Renault finishing 9th. Silva Slugga finishing his first race of his Wheel2Wheel Racing career in 10th. And everyone else, think James Laws, Appleplex, A Letdown Estate, Sega to Cause, all DNFing. Well,
I'm already here, Bloom.
That was absolutely incredible to watch, and if we could just remind our podium interviewees to make sure in the party settings that you're allowing your voice to be shared so all of our fans can hear this interview.
And it also makes us sound less crazy than we already are.
Yes. So, with that, we'll start with the God King himself, Xerxes. We knew you had great pace. You showed it on Wednesday, and you had great race pace today as well. So what clicked for you, and what made it so that you were finally able to put it together here? It's a really great drive.
I mean, it was alright considering, I guess. Wing damage for the first stint, so I was behind there. I couldn't really do anything about it, but I didn't want to pit for it because it was just an end plate, but it did affect my speed, obviously. But yeah, I don't know, just cracked on. Alan giving me the info that I needed, so...
Yeah, and you were caught up in couple DRS trains in the first half of that race, weren't you? Talk us through your thought process, and it's so difficult to overtake here. You say you had damage, which must have made it even more difficult.
Yeah, so turn 1 I got the damage, and all I wanted to make sure was, I knew obviously Callum Woody would be ahead. I think I lost a few places, but I just wanted to make sure with the damage I didn't have anyone with a DRS behind me, so I just tried to make that gap, and then I was just in no man's land, just enjoying the view.
Gonna say, it looked like you had it under control at that point. The guys behind you were definitely fighting hard for the position. So
yeah, it was a good job.
Like it definitely bought you some time there with the broken front wing. But I do want to, point out the elephant in the room in that sake. And I'm just saying, what a move on Cal on the restart for the safety car.
The switchback.
All by accident. Love it.
And that was
yeah, it was alright. I heard you boys on the stream. You enjoyed that, so it's nice that I provided something.
Oh, and we know you love putting on a show for all your fans around the world.
Oh yeah,
the millions that are watching, tuning in from home.
Exactly, yeah. I'd just like to thank them all. Yeah.
Right. So, Bloom, Diggle, anything to add for Xerxes?
No, just well done on the great drive and a strong finish for Red Bull as well, considering great points.
Thanks, mate. I just want to point out I didn't want to disappoint my fans without spinning, so I made sure I did that on the last lap.
I did catch you on the pit exit, so I didn't know what happened there, but I saw you in the pit exit. So
yeah, I hit the curb on the inside and it just went round. So yeah, it's, just didn't want to disappoint.
All for show though, so that's fine.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, Xerxes, on the podium. Always great to watch. And thanks, now mate. Our race winner, Woody Wolfie. Are you there, Woody? I think Woody is in game chat at the moment.
I'd just like to thank my sister Amanda, she's watching as well. She's just texted me.
Very nice.
You are included within the millions, but I'll give you a personal one.
Well, you definitely put on a show, that's all I can say, man.
Yeah, I can answer for Woody if you like.
I'm gonna jump into game chat and see if we can get him.
Oh, while we are waiting for that to just get sorted, I will just quickly. Have we got it all sorted? I think we've just lost Matty as well as yourself was coming to party chat. Just to double check the settings on the party.
There we go.
Just make sure the settings are all good in regards to the party. Your voice can be heard.
Yeah, as long as you're allowing your voice to be shared, Woody, we can get right down to it. You showed great pace in qualifying, and then you didn't really put a foot wrong in the race. Was that ever in doubt for you?
Yeah, we can hear you fine. Just wanted to make sure that obviously you've got the voice. Well, you looked almost untouchable at the front there for a majority of that race. -1 attack from the restart from one of the McLarens, James, but you fended them off pretty well and just got back into your groove. How did it feel just dealing with all of that and just getting on with it, really? 72 laps of just you showing how it's done.
Yeah, so that last stint after the safety car, he went in for fresh tires and struggled to get by Xerxes for a few laps, but once he got by him, he closed the gap. It looked to be around a second a lap for a few laps, and then you were sort of able to stabilize that gap at around 3.5 seconds. Were you aware of that gap was closing, and what did you do to sort of stabilize that gap at 3.5 seconds?
Woody, if you could check it.
Yeah, Diggle, what were you saying?
I was just about to say, I think we just had a comment there. Just they can't hear Woody on the stream in regards to the answers of the questions.
Oh no.
So, yeah, just go into your party settings, Woody, if you can, on the party screen.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah.
And just make
I
sure you're
apologize.
allowing your voice to be
I've
shared.
just done it now.
Don't worry, I did a
thought
time
I
qualifying session like that last season, so don't worry.
It's happened a few times before. No worries.
This is the first time
Just give
for
us
me on the podium.
a review of your race then, and then from qualifying and putting it on pole, getting a great start, and all the way right down to the end, leading just about every lap. Talk us through it.
Oh, well, yeah, the start was good. I had good gaps all race, over 10 seconds at some points, and yeah, I looked pretty comfortable, but I always knew that when these safety cars came out that Cal was going to be there, but he was always a little bit in traffic, which gave me a gap to maintain pretty much.
Yeah, and then just to go back to that last safety car now that everyone can hear you, talk us through that last restart and looking at the gap to Cal once he got past the Red Bull of Xerxes and how you coped with that.
I think I was lucky with that restart as well because I had a lapped car between us, so I was able to get a good gap.
There was two. One overtook me on the safety car.
I was able to get a good gap off that. I don't know. It would be interesting to see what the pace was like all race if I was actually in the pack and actually racing. But maybe next race.
You just take what you get, don't you?
Yeah.
We'd all be doing the same thing in your position.
For sure. I'll
Yeah,
take
yeah.
the win.
Yeah, so Diggle, anything for you to add? I will.
Issue with the mic there. Bad timing, sorry. Brilliant race to watch, to be fair. You showed great control in regards to everything in that respect. And like Bloom commented halfway through the race, it was nice to see someone in pink leading a Grand Prix. And you've definitely taken it to Cal this season, so it looks like we're going to have a good championship battle on our hands for the remaining races.
Yeah. Can I check the table on the Wheel2Wheel Racing? Is that on with the points?
It is on the website.
Alright, I'll go and check that out.
Yeah, it should be getting interesting. After the win, you get 35 points for a win with our point system this year. So, big haul of points for yourself, and it was a really great drive to watch. Great driving from all of our drivers here at Wheel2Wheel, coping with such a difficult track, difficult circumstances all the way through. But congratulations to you, Woody, on the win. Congrats to Xerxes once again on the podium. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
I think that will just about wrap things up this week. It was absolute pandemonium, as my buddy Bloom would say.
I was just going
It
to say
was
that.
a really, really fun race to watch, fun race to commentate, and we hope everybody watching enjoyed it. We will be back next week. Everybody take care. Thank you for watching.
Pandemonium. Stay safe.
Pandemonium!